all my regret. I just wish to be stronger, to give it all my best. What do I do to spread this burning courage? Every day, every night, I'm stuck inside of my head. Don't wanna stay blind today, wanna be somebody leading the way. Don't be afraid, gotta be brave, no matter what's coming our way. Strike it down and hype up the crowd. We can bring the energy they've never seen before. There's no doubt we're going all out. It's time we can shine the fighting dream inside. So don't back down, we have the power. I know nothing can stop us, you get it that way. I can't stop now, to take the knockout. My friend, just believe and keep on shouting till the end. Go strike! I gave my pride, left all my regret. I just wish to be stronger, to give it all my best. What do I do to spread this burning courage? Every day, every night, it's stuck inside of my head. I'm gonna stay grind today, wanna be somebody leading the way. Don't be afraid, we gotta be brave, no matter what's coming our way. Strike it down and hype up our crowd. We can bring the energy they've never seen before. There's no doubt we're going all out. It's time we can shine the light and dream inside. So don't back down, we have the power. I know nothing can stop us, we get it that way. I can't stop now, it takes a knockout. My friend, just believe and keep on shouting till the end. Go strike!
Hello and welcome. I am Ryan Blankenhorn, and before we get started, in the Greek history, Omega means fourth best. But today, we are changing history here at the Shenandoah University Arena. Today, this tournament is completely different than all the others. Today, our first place, the best, will be your Omega team. These teams are competing for something much greater than a tournament win, much greater than a trophy, much greater than a grand prize pool, much greater than a Wikipedia page. So that would be nice. Someone get on that. They're competing for pride, for legacy, for glory. These 6 teams are competing in a back-to-back round robin stage. Going to a lunch break because we all need our food and water before they come back to a bracket stage, where these teams are going to be fighting for a legacy that none other will have. 6 teams enter. 2 will be in your grand finals, and only 1 will have the luxury to mend history to their own making. Everyone, please put your hands together and make some noise for the first ever official Collegiate Invitational of the Omega Strikers Showdown. Get ready, because this day is going to be action-packed, and you don't want to miss a single second of it, folks. Christopher Clayton, take it away.
Thank you very much, Ryan. I've got chills after that. But I'm so excited to be here today hosting the first ever official Collegiate Omega Strikers Showdown. My name is Chris Clayton. I'm joined here today by 2 lovely gentlemen. I've got on my left Kevin Clayton and Warren Arnold on my right. Guys, are you excited for this as I am?
Oh, I'm pretty excited. I have been looking forward to playing this game ever since the beta beforehand, and oh my goodness, it's finally out and people are ready to play. I'm really excited.
For sure.
I mean, I've played this game since the original beta came out, and I've loved it. It's going to be a great day. Super excited to see what this game's looking like now. Ready to see what these teams are going to bring.
For sure. We've got an awesome day today, fully planned out. Lots of Omega Strikers we get to watch. And all these teams, all 6 teams competing for this gorgeous trophy for the first official Omega Strikers Collegiate LAN, our Collegiate Omega Strikers Showdown here at Shenandoah University. But as we talk about this, let's talk about our teams here, right? We have 6 teams coming out here in person. We've got Lakeland, Ole Miss, Juniata, St. Louis, Stockton, and George Mason. 6 very good teams, 6 teams who all are familiar with this game, right? This game did just come out 2 days ago, and some of these players will be new within the last 2 days. Some of them have had the luxury of playing during the closed beta, the open beta a long time ago. But yeah, 6 teams competing here in person.
Yeah, and I gotta say, when it comes to the skill level that we're going to see during this competition, we're talking about the best of the best right now. A lot of these players, like Chris mentioned, have played this game and have such a great understanding that it really boils down to not only their character familiarity, some of these are the best at their respective characters, but also they seem to meld really well together. a lot of these players have been playing with each other since those open beta days. Like, they really have a great understanding of the game.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see some high level Omega Strikers gameplay here. But as we talk about these teams competing in person, we, of course, being Shenandoah University, are here in Winchester, Virginia. And for those of you unaware, we're in Northern Virginia, pretty close to the border to like West Virginia and all that, just about an hour out from DC. But not all these teams are particularly close to here, as these teams traveled quite far away. Some of them, like Ole Miss down at the bottom, they're traveling 825 miles.
Man, that is insane for a 6-team tournament to come that far. I mean, you got to love the dedication.
Yeah, I absolutely love it from all these teams, but I mean, when you're committed to this game like these teams are, with as much experience as they had, you said it, playing in the open betas, playing in the closed betas, and, you know, giving prod feedback, right? They got to help the company that made this game, Odyssey Studio, giving them feedback and all that, and helping to really develop this game. Now here they are getting to compete for a $1,000 prize pool and some in-game currency, the Odyssey points, which is the premium currency in this game. Yes, $1,000 prize pool, and each team, the winning team, will get 2,500 Odyssey points per player. Second place will be getting 1,500 per player, and third place will get 1,000 Odyssey points per player, as well as the money prize pool, which will be a 60-30-10 split between first place, second place, and third place. So lots at stake, and as Ryan said, on top of all that, just pride, baby.
I mean, what more is there, right? You can't ask for much more, and I gotta say, it's honestly, shout-outs to Odyssey for really helping bring this whole event together, because there is so much that could have happened, bringing everyone in, saying, hey, this event, we want to run it, and they've been a huge help, not only adding to that prize pool, but also, I mean, just letting us get this opportunity to talk about a game fresh off the iron. I mean, this game, you said it, 2 days. 2 days of Omega Strikers, and yet these people have taken the time, really sat down, even when they've traveled so far, are now becoming so involved with this game.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And I also want to give a quick shout out to our students here at Shenandoah University. This event is actually put on by our event management class, as we kind of plug our academics here. It's such an awesome opportunity that these students get to host crazy events like this. I mean, this is a first ever event. Like, this has never happened before, and it never will happen again, right? There never will be a first ever after this. So quick shout out to them, as well as we have a broadcast class here that is running all of our broadcast here today. So really exciting stuff going on here today.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great day. I'm super excited to see what we're going to see out of this. As Kevin mentioned, it is only the second day. So seeing how each of these teams approaches the meta, how they approach what they think is the best team composition for these first few days. I mean, Chris, do you want to cover that a little bit before we hop into things?
Yeah. As the day goes on, we'll start to learn a little bit about all these characters, right? We're all going to learn a little bit together, as this game is very fresh for all of us. We obviously had the luxury of playing back when the game was in an open beta and open to the public, although an unfinished product. So some familiar faces, some new faces, some new mechanics, and we'll be exposed to that all throughout the day. But we'll take a look at these characters throughout the day, and the first one we'll look at is Rasmus. We'll get a quick intro on him pretty soon. But, you know, throughout the day, we'll get to meet these characters very in depth, and we'll see if we get to see any of these new characters. I'm expecting a lot of, fresh faces as we see this intro for Rasmus coming up. For any of you League players out there, this is very easily comparable to Thresh. But for those of you who don't know what that means, we'll talk a little bit about his abilities. He's got a bit of a whip there, as you saw, where he swings his hook and hits the core forward. He can speed himself up. That has a reactivatable that will hit the core in a circle around him. And then his ultimate, or his special ability, pulls either an enemy or the core towards him, which is extremely unique and really what makes this character special. This character was not in the open beta and is kind of holds a confusing spot in the meta right now because he's brand new. So I'm excited to see if we see this character today.
Yeah, and we've gotten the opportunity to talk to some of the players beforehand, and the big consensus is that this character is good in the right hands, but also it's very map dependent. A lot of people like to talk about Aimee. She is the map specifically. It is very dangerous when you have a kill zone in the middle and suddenly Rasmus just sees you out of place slightly and you get hooked into the offstage section right there, and it is, ooh, if you're on the opposite side of that, it feels horrible. If you're Rasmus, it feels pretty good.
For sure, yeah, and that's a good segue into, let's talk kind of some of the fundamentals of this game. The easiest way I could describe it, as seen in that video, would be like a, 3v3 type soccer-esque hockey kind of, but you can kill each other. So these characters will be looking to knock each other off the stage through the walls, but as Kevin said, there are different maps, and we'll get a little more into that later, but this is a new feature that was not in the original beta. And so we'll see how these teams use that because, last time we got to play this game, there was only one map and there were no gimmicks to it. It was just straight Omega Strikers, score as many times as you can, and I think it was first to 5 at the time. But yes, now these maps have different sort of quirks and stuff. Like Kevin said, Aimee's app has a hole in the middle. We'll dive deeper into the maps as we get into them. But yeah, so certain characters certainly thrive on different maps, and that's going to be for these teams to kind of explore.
Yeah, I definitely think each team's approach to each map is going to it's really going to turn the day.
Yeah, for sure.
I think whoever has the best mastery of, let's say, 3 out of the 4 of the maps is going to be winning the day.
That's
simple as that.
Yeah, and I will say, when it comes to like looking at the maps, both sides, as we talk more about the mechanics of the game, both sides will get a ban when they go into these games, which means if there is a character like Rasmus who is very good on a map, it is very likely that one or both teams will ban out that character, and that will lead into some wacky sort of like antics afterwards as to what sort of metas will they push forward. Will they be brawling more? Will they be playing safe, distance? It could be a whole mesh of whatever you want.
Yeah, for sure. So, we're talking about map picks and how that can influence teams. Another addition to this game is the introduction of Awakenings. For those of you who had the luxury of playing in the open beta back in those days, you may remember trainings, and if those of you who did not get to play the open beta, trainings were like little minor stat boosts that you would choose outside of the game, but they totally scrapped that. I guess they took feedback from the player base who didn't like it very much. I certainly didn't have a problem with it, but that's me personally.
My credits, no.
Yeah,
You're right.
But so they replaced it with an awakening system, which is similar, gives like passive stats, but you accrue them over the course of the game, which is totally unique and kind of adds an extra layer of, intricacy with every game. Right now, no 2 games will ever be the same because it all depends on which awakenings you get over the course of the game. And again, we'll dive deeper into that as we encounter it. We've got a lot of Omega Strikers ahead of us, so we can talk about all of this as we see it. But all these little things are going to be so exciting to watch.
Yeah, and I do want to cover real fast that when it comes to these awakenings, when the game starts, when you're in the draft phase, you will have 2 awakenings to choose from. From there, once a round has ended, there's an MVP mechanic in the game. Whoever was the MVP of that round will then have the first option for a whole random selection of awakenings, and then from there it's random. It alternates for the most part, but it is very It is very random as to what sort of awakenings you can get, and that can really swing if you want your awakening, but someone else in front of you has it. Tough luck.
Yeah, and it is dependent on how well you play, too. The MVP function is given to the player who played the best, and the game decides that. I'm not sure what all goes into that. I'm sure that's very complicated. But in order of players that had the biggest impact on a certain round, because these games are inherently a best of 5, between each round, we get to select more awakenings that are randomly put in front of you. But then once somebody in front of you picks one, you don't get that. So it's extra encouraging to play well if you need, better stats or whatever. If you find yourself, like, say, dying a lot, or I don't know what else, but you never have your abilities up. And you need these extra stat boosts. You got to play well in order to get them, or else the game can snowball by rewarding the better players with good awakenings. Right. But it looks like we are getting into our first game here, so that's very exciting. We may move to that very soon. Yep, here we go. So we missed the ban phase, but it looked like an IME ban, and I'm not sure who the other one was.
Yes, but we're also on Oni Village. Oni Village is a 2-barrier map. The goal barriers you need to hit with the core in order for the goal to open, and we can go more into that once the game starts. But as we're going in, I like to see on the side of Stockton, there's Kai, and then there are 2 people who want to punch your face, while on the other side, there is the more sit-back approach from George Mason.
Yeah, for sure. So here's that Rasmus pick that we were talking earlier today, right? Look for the unique sort of hook function. And another thing that we didn't quite talk about was goal barriers, actually, were introduced, and I completely forgot to mention that, but that's a very important thing. On each of these maps, there are quick goal from Vega. Very well done, just winning that 50-50. But back to goal barriers, every map has goal barriers that you need to hit with the core. 3 of the maps have 2 goal barriers, but one of them has 1 goal barrier. We'll see if we see that. But in this map, they're in the corners, and you need to hit both in order for the goal to actually open.
Yeah.
So,
I will say, first of all, shout-outs to Vega, because you got the first point throughout all of this. Kudos to you.
Well done.
But second, we're seeing on this map, specifically, the goal barriers are really large. And because of that, it's very easy for these 50-50 situations, as the Juno Wiggly Wobbly is able to get another point for the side of George Mason. But it's the fact that once one of those barriers is gone, it's very easy for it to snowball to like a second, or it will go into situations like we see with this Kai, with Spartan. It's very hard to get the one. It's a very unique map. It's interesting. It really depends on, are you able to keep up that pressure early, or will you have situations like this where Vega sends in another shot and suddenly George Mason takes one up in this set.
Yeah, very, very well done. Quick work. George Mason scoring a quick 3 goals. But here we are in the awakening menu that we saw. So now we see a draft from left to right. We have 8 awakenings in front of us. But every player can only take 1, and once it's taken, it's gone, with the exception of the one in the bottom right. Everybody could take that if they wanted. So we'll see what these players decide to beef themselves up with.
Yeah, and I will say, Stinger being taken first doesn't really shock me. Juno is a character that wants her creations to be either bigger, longer, or just have some lower cooldowns. There wasn't any of those options on screen, and Stinger is just generally pretty good. So now, as we move into this next match, we do see... So the Kai is normally assigned to be goalie for Stockton, but we see him playing forward, and Drakkar is playing in the back, and he gets a goal off of it. Talk about a great change in play style.
Yeah, for sure. Kai on Kai action there. Kai's primary ability is that he sends out lots of little fireballs, and it's a lot of hitboxes that can really stuff the goalie essentially. So the goalie will hit it away from the goal, right, naturally. But if you're spamming the goalie with those little hitboxes that hit it back at the goalie can only hit the ball so many times. So Kai's very good at overwhelming goalies. But you said it. I mean, we actually more commonly see him as a goalie for the exact opposite effect of making sure that you can't be stuffed because you're hitting the ball so many times.
Oh, my goodness.
That was a close one right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I do like this sort of change in play style. Having Drakkar in the back is working out surprisingly well for the side of Stockton, as right now we're seeing George Mason send the core to the top side, just trying to brute force that goal barrier. But right now both goals are open as we see the core thrown down, is able to save it, but the Juno slime, what?
What was that?
I believe we have run into
Not sure what just happened there. We'll see how that gets addressed. I'm not sure if that was a spectator bug or a gameplay bug. But
why not both?
Yeah, maybe.
That was one of the perks of a game that released 2 days ago. I mean, stuff like that's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's going to be on you to adapt, right?
Yeah, I mean, both teams got to play through it. As we see a core flip come out from Kai. And that's another thing we can talk about, right? Another addition that came with the full release of this game is they find a pick on Erasmus, and Stockton finds himself with a number advantage. But, yes, so every character has energy now, as we just saw Juno use there. Energy can be used to evade, which makes you totally invincible for a couple seconds. I don't know the exact number. But if your energy bar is full, you get an ability called the core flip, which you can use when you're close to the core, and it will flip it up in the air, as we see a nice 50-50 there by Rasmus to stuff that one in. Yes, your core flip will flip the core up in the air. I mean, I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. But then you are the only person that can hit it, and the ball goes flying at seemingly 600 miles an hour. So a very good ability, but rare, a strong resource.
Absolutely. As we do see, it's a mechanic that we will try to call out when characters have as these games go on. But now the side of Stockton, now both goals are open, actually, as we do see Drakkar has the core flip, but also we see Pokemaster Nick is able to get that core flip and close out this match and this set for Stockton.
Yeah, so tying it up now, both teams have 1 point in this first 2-3. We do see Kai in both Kais actually picking first here. First one takes heavy impact, harder hitting impacts, especially for Kai with those long range bullets, as Chris was referring to, stuffing the goal with them is it's very good for him.
Yeah, for sure. So we see Kai on the side of George Mason taking extra special, but Kai on the side of Stockton opting for heavy impact. So interesting choices. Nothing crazy, but we'll see how they're able to use these different buffs now as, we see a mirror matchup here, but very different builds. So they're going to play very differently.
Yeah, Drakkar was looking to take the extra size and duration on the creations, which would have been interesting. I don't know if he was hovering it to just try and take it from the Juno, but, I mean, it was up ahead as we do see a knockout on the top side of the map.
Yeah, and a whole nother layer of strategy in this game, as you mentioned, would be, taking nice wide open shot, finding Kai on the wrong side of the goal, but taking awakenings away from the enemy team, right? If there are obvious awakenings that would benefit the other team significantly and might not benefit you as much, but if you feel like it's worth taking it away from the enemy team, that's a very valid strategy.
Ooh.
Wow, great play from Pokemon Master Nick there.
Yeah, I'm really liking the way that Stockton plays together. There's been a lot of pass game between the players, and it's led to some really great interactions that have led to them coming back in this series.
For sure. As we, see another goal
yeah.
just squeak in.
Yeah, it seems that once Stockton shifted the Drakkar to the backline, as we were talking about when we saw the opening of Game 2, that they've just started taking over from this.
Yeah, and it's a definitely unexpected move. I, at least myself, am not familiar with a Drakkar playing goalie, as he's more of a brawler, used to, finding picks and, stuffing goalies with his gun. But as we see a good look there from Rasmus to pull the core from one side of the map to the other, but as we see a pass play maybe from Stockton, not quite. Drakkar forced to use his core flip. That's an important resource.
Yeah, but we do see Kai on the side of Stockton does have his core flip, and it does go into the goal as they go up another round in this set.
Yeah, now Stockton setting up 2-1. What do you do as George Mason to bring the momentum back in your favor? You took the first game, but they've taken the last two. Chris, Kevin, what do you do?
Yeah, great question. It's going to start with these awakenings. We see Luna pick first, goes for aerials. That's a fairly standard. That will help her super long dash. But we'll see. Kaya opting for stacks on stacks, that's standard, but just overall not a super overwhelming awakening.
Yeah, and we're seeing general pretty good abilities from both sides. Prime time on Juno is going to be super impactful, as we see. That means more Blabos on the field. But the big thing that we're seeing so far is that there's been a really strong pass game from the side of Stockton. They're very just gelled together, very aware, as now we're starting to see it come through on the side of George Mason, and now the goal is open for the side of Stockton.
Wow, dangerous core there, almost sneaking in, but I definitely think to play into that passing game that we're seeing, Drakkar's range is very short. He's got his normal strike and then a little cone of bullets that can great angle there from Wiggly Wobbly to sneak that one in, but Drakkar's range is nowhere near the other goalie in Kai, right? And especially on a map like this, where your goal barriers are on opposite ends of the map, if you get caught on one side, your other side is wide open, whereas Kai can make saves from anywhere on the map with his really long-range special, as we see a nice core flip to find the goal barrier there from Garbanzo, excuse me.
Yeah. And it's good to see. I like the aggression from these core flips. There's been a lot of people we see who like to hold on to the core flip. You're still gaining that resource as Kai sends in that goal. It's good to just use it when you have it, because the advantage you can get after can snowball to so much more.
For sure. And especially you want to see teams use the evade, as we see a great play from Kai there to find both goal barriers in one go. Using evade is very important. We're not seeing it as much this game because neither of these teams are really built to find picks, as we see Rasmus use it just then. Rasmus caught shooting, or excuse me, Drakkar caught shooting the wrong direction, lets one slip by, and you can't afford that.
Yeah, and I really do like this sort of approach, because now we're seeing George Mason very good at just reacting. They saw that they were starting to go down in this series. They took a look at the game state and said, all right, what do we need to do? Will these awakenings help? But also this pass game, as we see the Rasmus special come out, and he gets a point to go up another. We are going to a game 5 for this set already.
That was a great play from Vega, basically taking it in his own hands, hooking the ball, or the core, excuse me, from one end of the map to all the way to him and squeaking it by the goalie.
Ooh, tempo swing from Rasmus. Very interesting. Chris, what do you think about that pick?
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. It will allow Rasmus's, the first thing that comes to mind for me is that Rasmus's special ability, his hook that we've referred to a couple times, will pull the ball away faster now.
Yes.
By nature of dealing more damage to it, and he'll be able to heal from hitting both enemy players and the core. So we'll see if he's able to use that effectively. It's a bit of an interesting pick, but not too outlandish.
I like to think that he went for it because of, we've seen Vega plays super aggressive, plays very far forward, but because of that, we're seeing he has had his stagger broken multiple times during this game. Not always leading to a KO, but it leads to some very unlucky situations as this pressure on the side of Stockton's goalie is just feeling like a lot. It is very hard to keep up as we do see another goal sent in by Vega. This man is on a rampage.
Yeah, for sure. And Wiggly Wobbly will get the credit for that one. But, ultimately, a play set up and mostly dictated by Vega there. Playing a great game for George Mason here.
Ooh.
I am certainly interested to see if – we keep talking about that Awakening pick. And you're right, getting staggered – can make it so that when you're taking any form of damage, you get thrown around. Nice goal from Luna there to squeak one in. Pokemon Master Nick able to find a tiny, tiny opening.
Small character, tiny opening. Able to fly in there and just, like you said, squeak it past that small little push, able to get that goal. It's 1-1 in the final game, but oh my goodness, he lost the core flip there.
Yeah, what better way to start the first ever official Omega Strikers LAN, right? We are in Game 5 of this very first game. But, this is as close as it can get, right? All mistakes are huge now. So see if these teams have made any adaptations. As we see a good core flip there to find Rasmus in the corner.
No.
Squeezes it by. I'm honestly not even sure how Drakkar did he miss?
Yeah, he seemed to be very, very minutely off the core, and he just unfortunately missed it right there.
Yeah, and as the barriers start to open, we do want to acknowledge Vega does have his core flip up, but the goal barrier is open, and now it is 2-2. Next point decides it for this series, this match.
What better way to start this tournament? Next goal wins it all right here. And this is game 1 of group play, right? These teams will all play each other as goals are open for George Mason.
Yeah.
Got to find these core flips. Look out for Luna. She has hers.
Yeah, keep an eye on Pokemon Master Nick as we do see Vega looking to put up a little bit of pressure, trying to get those barriers open. Juno also has the core flip. Stockton.
No.
Oh, man.
Wow. A great play from Luna there, but it just looked like maybe a couple miscommunications there on the side of Stockton. Not quite able to put it, on the side of George Mason. And Stockton is able to put it together and find game 1. And Stockton now undefeated through one game.
Yeah, and look at these stats, right? Vega was at 6 goals throughout all of that. He brought up 2 of those matches on his own and was able to find these little openings. But we saw throughout all of that the pass game. I think as that series went on, we saw George Mason begin to adapt and look for that pass game. They always seemed to pass it up. They seemed very comfortable taking the core back and then pushing it forward through the top. And that really began to snowball as we saw the side of Stockton began to panic a little bit. We weren't seeing as much of the pass game and just a couple small mistakes. It's early, right? Just got to get ready, got to start adapting, and go from there.
Yeah, shake those nerves out. But seriously, some very high-level Omega Strikers we're seeing here today. All this pass game stuff is not something you're going to see in your first game on.
Yeah.
So these players, these teams have sunk a lot of time in this game already. With the game only being out, 48 or 72 hours, I don't know how long now. But, very short amount of time, and it's a testament to how good these players are.
It absolutely is. One thing I do want to cover is, Rasmus. He was so pivotal in that game. It definitely, as you said, one of the newer characters. I think that just seeing it from that opening game today, it crediting to the pass game of both teams, I think Rasmus is going to be a pretty influential pick all day today.
For sure, and especially in the hands of Vega, right? Vega is the one that puts on the show. So seriously, a great performance there. But as we look to get into our next game, I'm not sure. Are we expecting more of the same?
I would expect the same for the most part. Unfortunately, we did not see the bans going into that match besides Aimee. I would love to see potentially if Stockton switches up that ban, because I can confirm that they were the ones who banned Imi in that starting phase. So if they want to take Rasmus off the field, that makes a lot of sense. Or we may see a map change. They might want to go to somewhere else. We're just taking out the pass game. We see that a little bit more in Amy's map, a little bit more in the, I'm blanking on the name with the dark star in the middle.
Atlas's Lab.
Yes. Atlas's Lab would be another one that does a great job of causing pass game to feel really uncomfortable and just putting people in situations that they're not super familiar with. These maps are still new, whether you like it or not. So just really minimizing those sorts of comforts.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to acknowledge it sounds like we're having just some technical difficulties, so those are being resolved. Of course, nothing catastrophic, and such are the ways of a new game, right? I mean, you're going to have bugs, and that's okay. We'll get right back into it as soon as we can. But, and it sounds like it's already fixed, excuse me.
There you go.
So thank you, production.
Shout-outs to production. We love you back there.
Yeah, so we should be getting into our next game fairly soon. But yeah, so back to this map pick, right? Or I shouldn't say map pick because it's random. That was going to be my point. Is that, no matter how much, if GMU or Stockton felt very comfortable on that map, unfortunately, it's not up to them what map they get. So we could see a polarizingly different map, like Night Market has walls in the middle that makes it very hard to pass through. So we'll see if they're able to adapt to that, see if other teams have the same issue, but we'll see all of it as these games come rolling to us.
Yeah, and I would like to pull up the Juno character trailer at some point, because we did see, while a lot of the goals were brought up by Rasmus, Juno played a very strong point throughout a lot of that match, both in setting up and stuffing out passes from the side of Stockton. Because when they were trying to pass, we did see Juno's Slimes were able to really get in the way and just cause chaos. As we see here, look at the little pressure that those Blobos have.
Right, I mean, it doesn't look like much, but Juno can control where that thing that she's shooting out right now aims. So it's like having an extra player on your team at any given moment. That player just can't move. But if you're placing them in proper spots to have the most impact on the game, she can be very overwhelming.
Yeah, and I will say it's good to see the sort of play style that they're very aware. When you play a character like Juno where you're having to keep track of multiple pieces at the same time, someone who has played the character enough, you can really see when that potential comes through, and it can cause such a great, just moment of awe. You can tell mastery on these characters.
Yeah, for sure. But we are going to look to get straight into our next game as we have another Oni Village. So same map for us, although we're not sure what these teams played on in Game 1. But two new teams. We did see a X ban for the side of Lakeland, who is on our left here, and a Asher ban for the team on the right.
Interesting. I mean, this map is a little bit narrower on the tops, which could lead to some very interesting interactions. That's probably why they wanted to get rid of that. But as we move into this game, we're seeing Kai, Rasmus, forgive the Juliet there. That is not actually one of the characters. That is the spectator. Small graphical issue, as we do see it is Zentara, Rasmus, and Kai on the side of Lakeland, and St. Louis has Drakkar, Rasmus, and Atlas.
Now, something I want to point out, and Warren, you touched on this, both teams with Rasmus in this game, and the reason I'm emphasizing it a little more than I would have maybe last game is for these players in particular. Coin and Witchings are both pretty dedicated Rasmus players. Might I say one tricks.
Oh,
So this will certainly be a very interesting matchup to see as we see a good
no.
yeah. Good play by Atlas to make a save there, but
Coins Rasmus already getting 2 of those goalposts as we do see the pressure beginning to build up. Luckily, Lakeland is able to get it out of there as we do see Zoro just kind of sitting at that goal barrier. Like I said, if you're able to just keep one, it's very easy to defend on this map. It's when you try to do both that you really see the pressure build up, and you either can save both or you lose it all.
Ooh, nice core flip there from Soren as he deflects the ball, blocks it again. Lakeland's still trying to unlock that final goal barrier here. Trying to relieve some of the pressure that is on their side. Wow. Sends it again, nice block. Soren just doing a great job right now of trying to keep the core out of his goal.
Yeah, and Zoro really locking down this goal barrier. This is taking a while. See if they they do find it. Now that's that coordination we're talking.
Oh,
wow,
there we go. The second the goal unlocks, Lakeland just throws it right in with the help of Witchings on Rasmus.
And that was so well done. That was so well coordinated. That speaks to this team play, right? I mean, these teams have not had very long to play with each other unless they were in the fraud test, which I'm not sure if they were. But I mean, either way, these teams have not had much time to really master this game, and yet we're seeing great plays like that. That was awesome to see.
Yeah, as we do see Lakeland's goal is currently open. We do see Zentaro's special come out as Kai is able to reflect it back into the invisible Drakkar. He says hello and gets a goal for the side of St. Louis.
And so another thing I want to touch on as we speak about these, you know, character specialties, if you will, is trademark on Drakkar. I have been told, the legend is that Trademark is allegedly one of, if not the best Drakkar player in the world.
I mean, I'll believe it from what I'm seeing so far.
Yes, so interesting to see, like, bans-wise, right, for a team like Lakeland to say, hey, we don't care. We'll give you your best character. Lakeland prioritizing, wow, they do find a kill onto the goalie there. I'm talking about something completely different. But wow, Rasmus on Witchings on Rasmus able to make a great save there as Kai's about to come up in 1 second. Oh, but a great angle from Coin to squeak that in right before the goalie respawned.
Yeah, good on Coin as we do see both sides. It really, you could tell that they're having a good time with this match as we saw both teams earlier showing off their school emote. I mean, the passion's there.
Yeah, good core flip there from Coin to just really lock that goal barrier in.
Now, I do want to point out, as Zoro loses that core flip, we see Zoro is very willing to give up one of his goals, or one of these posts, is because he, I think, realizes the pressure he can have to just block the one has been really good. Like, we see that pressure as the Rasmus special comes out, able to open up this goal. Will they be able to get it out of this goal side? Coin keeping up the pressure, same with Trademark. It's getting into dangerous territory.
Yeah, we've got 2 open goals here. This is very dangerous, but see some good team play again. I mean, we've been talking. Oh, wow, almost a stray goal.
There we
go. A great save there for a moment there by Zoro, but not quite able to defend another shot from Zentaro there.
I mean, talk about the pressure, right? Zoro feeling people on his top side, realizing, like, I probably can't send it up there, and just reaction, sending it to the bottom. It's so interesting to see this sort of play style where you really feel the pressure in the mental game. It's crazy to see as we see the core flip come out and able to open up that goal barrier, as we do see now it is open again on the side of St. Louis as one barrier goes down for Lakeland, barely scratches past the second.
There we go.
And that, as we see more shots on goal, both goals are open.
This round felt very commanding for Lakeland to start getting 2 early goal barriers.
Oh my
Zoro caught cheating up just a little too far. Can't make that save.
Yeah, Lakeland taking the first game in this series 3-2. Yeah, as you said, they seemed very dominant early on, starting 2-0. losing 2, but they were able to pull it back in the end. We do see that the Kai from Lakeland is going to be taking the first picks of the Awakenings. Let's see what he is going to take. Yeah, okay, build different. Yeah.
Yeah, and as we wait for these Awakenings to be picked, I want to acknowledge, we're seeing all the emotes come out.
Ooh.
I mean, Kevin said it. We're seeing a lot of, just like friendly in-game banter in a game that has no chat. But over the last couple of days, we've had these teams coming in and, getting their reps, getting practice in before today. But it's been so much fun to watch how these players are genuinely all friends with each other.
It's a love for the game.
Right. It was actually Coin's birthday yesterday, so shout out to him. But a couple of the teams that went out and ate to celebrate his birthday all together. So it's been an awesome environment here at Shenandoah. But wow! They're able to find a kill onto the goalie and stuff that one in, and yeah, I would say that wasn't very friendly.
I was about to say, kind environment. That felt personal.
It was personal.
Yeah, but by all means, I do want to acknowledge we did see these upgrades come out from the characters. As I want to call out Zoro again. I believe the more time that passes, oh no, the more that he can make his AoEs bigger, the harder it's going to be to get these goals in on this map. So I'm very curious to see if we will hit that point, because right now, Lakeland's doing a very good job at having a commanding presence during this game.
Yeah, for sure. Soren locking down this last goal barrier. They are able to clear it out, but nope, never mind. Not for very long. Zoro and Soren now defending open nets as we see if either team can find a shot, as St. Louis maintaining some pretty good possession here. Witchings does have his core flip, and Ethan. The core is able to find its way to the other side of the map, but they do find a pick onto the goalie. No core flips though for the great timing there from Coin. I don't know if that was reaction time or prediction, but that was insane to block that core flip out of Zentara.
Yeah, we see the wrist breaker coming out. He admits it. That is rough to beat. As we do see, once again, one barrier going down from the side of St. Louis, and we see this sort of play style. But I also want to acknowledge Coin. Coin, again, with Rasmus, has been playing very forward. Same thing with Witchings. We're seeing that a lot more with these characters.
Coin.
This is awkward. But we're seeing this playstyle where both Rasmus feel good playing very forward, and multiple times Coin's stature has been broken. But he usually doesn't go down, and it's just because he has no one on the side of Lakeland has been able to get that final hit without losing some pressure somewhere else on this map.
Yeah, one thing I do want to point out real quick, you did touch on that, Kevin. Both teams are now defending their top goal post here, putting a lot of resources into trying to, use that style that we did see St. Louis using in the opening game here, trying to defend one of the goal posts instead of trying to defend both. Nice core flip there from Soren, trying to get the ball away from his goal post.
Yeah, I do love when it comes to the core flip, players are so aware that they can just use it. You don't, by all means you can save it. That's a very good sneak in from the side of St. Louis.
Soren.
Unable to get that goal barrier. Lakeland now able to get this score in, but it's just not going to be enough. The rescue ran out. Oh, no. But now Lakeland able to put up a little bit of pressure. Oh my goodness. Okay. As we see Zentaro able to dash in, just keep up that little bit of pressure, get that follow-up. Crazy plays.
We are watching Omega Strikers right now. This is so awesome. These teams are also very evenly matched, as we saw last game go to Game 5. I certainly hope this game does too. I want to watch more of this, but great play from both sides as both teams now down one goal barrier. But yeah, something I would like to see a little more. We saw the impact of finding these picks at the end of last round, right? I mean, you pointed out the Atlas timing of killing someone right as Atlas's ult disappeared. But we haven't seen many eliminations otherwise. And that's something I would like to see maybe the Zentara look for a little more.
Yeah, as we do see the core flip come out, using it to pass up. But now, look at this defensive game. How do you get past the wall of Zoro and the projectile game of Soren? It is super difficult.
Yeah, for sure. This has been electric watching these Rasmuses play against each other too, because they play so similar but so different, and that sounds stupid. But like, you know, both making great plays. You know, kind of looking for one-off plays. It's nice patience from Zoro, waiting out all of Witching's abilities. But man, both of these goalies locking down these goal barriers. We're in overtime. This is a great showing for both of these goalies.
Oh,
well,
there we go.
That's good old-fashioned cast and curse.
We're only 15 seconds in. It's all right. You know, one of the goal barriers does go down on the side of SLU. And now it's all up to Lakeland to keep defending their goal post, which now, of course, as soon as I say anything, it goes down as well. Now, who's going to get it in first? St. Louis gets it in, tying it up 2-2.
You know what I love? When top players do something different than you see in standard gameplay. And we don't see much of Rasmus's special on players. A lot of the play styles so far we've seen in these games have been using it on the core, and the pressure is intense. It's demanding. As we do see once again, St. Louis losing one of those goal barriers. But, I mean, look at this defensive game. It is amazing to see the sort of pressure that these players are able to put on.
Yeah, and that is high-level gameplay, right? Being able to adapt your gameplay, adjust to how the other team is playing, how the rest of your team may be playing in whatever game you're in. And that's not just an Omega Strikers thing, that's a video games thing, that's a sports thing. That's a team thing, frankly. So high-level stuff we're seeing to make adaptations like that. But we see SLU defending an open net 2-2. See if SLU can maybe try to tie this series up, but got to get that goal barrier down first.
Ah, man. The pixel-perfect like save game from Soren is wild, as we do see, oh my goodness, Drakkar popping in out of nowhere. The Rasmus special coming in.
Oh my god.
Zoro used his core flip. I think it came out before Witching's, but he was just, I mean, pixels out of range, and it missed. Heartbreaking stuff. Oh, both of these series going to 5 points, but Lakeland taking both of them, and man, this is so close.
Yeah, and now as St. Louis, you know, you're down to, you need to win these next three, or this is going to be this game at this match at the very least for you. What do you do to adjust your strategy here as SLU? What can you do to try and gain some momentum to try and fight back against Lakeland here?
Yeah, I mean, I just think you got to find an answer to stuffing through Kai on these goal barriers. I think Lakeland is able to break the goal barriers a lot faster. Although, I mean, both teams really doing a great job of defending their goal barriers. I mean, I hate to, you know, point out, like, I hate to criticize great gameplay, but at the end of the day, it has been Lakeland finding the goal barriers first, and so we'll see if St. Louis can maybe, you know, craft up some unique plays. I mean, you said it, right? Craft up some adaptations. There you go, finding an open net, and now we'll see if they can put it together and make a play out of it, but Lakeland with possession right now.
Yeah, as we do see Coin using the special.
Wow.
And able to get it back into his hands. Kai able to make the save. I mean, again,
Soren,
these pixels.
how do you keep doing this?
Lord. Soren playing
Come on.
so well right now.
Oh my.
My lord, I'm so anxious. I'm just here screaming right now as, jeez, another one within inches. The emotes are flying. These guys are having a great time. This is wild gameplay, but we'll see if Lakeland can maybe crack a goal barrier. As we see a pick, though, onto Zentaro.
Yeah, as we do see, we will move, like, the pressure's on now. I mean, this guy's been doing a great job absorbing this pressure. I mean, let's talk. The ability to throw out all of these abilities I mean, he's able to block with just about everything in his arsenal and just keep it going. It's still an open net, and it don't matter.
Mother of God. This is wild gameplay we are seeing from Soren right now. It is a miracle that none of these shots have gone in. I am losing.
There we go. You said it and it happened.
Wow.
I mean, still massive shout out to Soren. He did such an amazing job, as you've said, as we've seen in the past 2 games, doing an amazing job of doing these pixel perfect blocks. I mean, absolute shout out to him for how he's been playing this.
Yeah, as we do see, Drakkar is taken out already, and 1 goalpost goes down from the side of St. Louis. But I do want to acknowledge once again, I talked about the size of the Atlas AoEs having such a great impact during all of this. He's gotten 2 upgrades. 1 AoE circle covers just about every option coming in from any given direction, and it lingers. You can't beat it out.
Core flip to block the
we
goalpost.
find
Amazing.
the small pixels as Soren keeps up so much pressure. And my goodness, man, I am a Soren believer.
Man, I feel bad for all of you watching at home that just have to sit here and listen to us just make noises. But this is spectacular. We saw a goalie-to-goalie goal break there from Soren, able to open up the net for the rest of his team to find a goal there. But, man, I mean, this is electric. And I mean, somewhat biasedly want SLU to win this just for the sake of watching more of this game, man. I do not want this to end.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing right now Lakeland's goal is open, but this guy is really good at absorbing this pressure, unable to get it in again. Soren's block game is insanity.
Yeah, and I should acknowledge that Soren is known for his Kai. I mean, Oh, wow! They find the pick onto him. It just standing a little too far back, and Coin is able to find the kill in the back of the net and let that one slide right in. Wow.
Whoopsie. I mean, you have that amazing block game, and then suddenly it just all comes down to 1 Rasmus primary. And I mean, goodness, it's craziness out here.
Good coin flip there from Rasmus, but quickly intercepted. Both goal warriors up for SLU. See if they can capitalize on that. I mean, you said it. Okay, yeah, let one go. That's fine. You know, yeah, you pointed it out that it's fairly standard, especially we've seen it from Zoro here. Oh, caught standing just out of position and maybe didn't have his abilities up. I'm not sure, but just lets that one by. And oh, great angle, just catching Zoro, you know, defending the lower side of the goal. Such is the issue with having an open net at that point. Not much he could have done there, just great play, great team play from Lakeland there.
I wish we could get you the arena audio, because when that goal went in, they were yelling out there. They wanted that point so bad, and they feeling good after that.
Yeah, this place is loud. And I can tell you, even just our production room right now. We've got a couple people running this stream, right? This high-level stream, which shout out to you guys.
Ooh, good rescue real fast.
Great play. But even our production room is kind of going crazy right now with all these plays.
I mean, it's an extremely exciting game to watch, especially at such a high level, especially, again, since the game came out 2 days ago.
Right. I mean, it's just great Omega Strikers to watch. Do find a pick onto Coin. See if Lakeland can make a play with this numbers advantage.
Yeah, Zoro doesn't have his abilities.
Right now, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
They did get it. Wow. Great play from Witching is there. Good clear from Zoro to go down. Witching hits it backwards on accident. Wow. Zoro making a stand for now. But see if they can keep this up before Lakeland, I mean, will inevitably overwhelm Zoro. So we'll see if, oh wow. SLU can make a play to get that last goal barrier down, but Soren holding strong.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing this special, the special game coming out from these Zoros has been crazy. Drakkar popping in out of the blue and stopping the Rasmus special. But now